what's up, everybody? Sitting at the Stockman's truck stop in on the south side of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I stayed here for the night last night because I had a delivery at 1 o'clock about 16 miles away from here, like really closer to downtown Minneapolis last night, just behind a random warehouse, and they gave me a load to pick up that was only like an hour away, and it was going to, it was some, I want to say I think it was called Michael's Foods in let me look it up for you guys. I like to let the people know more details than just bare facts. So it was Michael's Foods in. I turned it down because it was going to require me to drive 2 complete nights of overnight driving to get it to the 90, and I try to stay away from driving completely overnights, because even though I can do it, most of the time whenever I drive overnights, I end up getting really tired in the middle of the night, and I got to pull over for a quick power nap, anywhere from like 1, 2, 3 hour power nap, and it didn't have enough time on there to do that, so I had to err on the side of caution, and I turned it down and I said nope. I'm like, the only way to get that thing delivered on time is to, I have no problem picking it up. Well, it was only an hour away, but they sent it to me at like 2 o'clock, and it was only an hour away, but it was a live load at 9 p.m. last night. Michael's Foods in let's see, where was it? That was the message. Nope, that was the previous one. Michael's Foods in Gaylord, Minnesota, which is only like 65 miles southwest of where I'm at right now. So I had no problem picking it up. Really, I mean, it was a 9 p.m. live load. So like I do with all my pre-plans, before I even start thinking about it, I Google, especially in these food places, these refrigerator places that like to take forever to get you loaded, even if you are the only one there. I Googled them real quick, found it easy to get to. Problem was, being a live load, they had like 15 docks, but all 15 docks had a truck and trailer already in it getting live loaded. Then it had another 15 or 20 trucks parked in front of the building, basically staged, waiting to be called to be given a dock. So all those trucks at the dock are waiting to get loaded. No telling how long they're going to take to get loaded, and a whole bunch of trucks just waiting for a dock. So when I see a situation like that, I see it as that picture is no good at all. You had a whole bunch of trucks sitting at the dock waiting to get loaded, no telling how long it's going to take to get loaded. A bunch of trucks just waiting for a dock. And because the appointment was for 9 p.m., I'm like, it could be, I might not even get loaded until like tomorrow morning, which is this morning. But I had to go with the like the parameters that we set, the 2 hour live load thing, where we show up and we give them 2 hours from our appointment time, because sometimes you do get loaded pretty quick. When I saw all docks full with 15 or 20 trucks just waiting for a dock, I'm like, that's worst case scenario. That's like a Walmart right there. So I'm like, it's not going to take 2 hours to get loaded, but I'm like, just to play it safe, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to go with our minimum requirements here. So 9 p. Say theoretically, a 9 p.m. live load should take 2 hours. So even if I'm ready to move at 11 p.m. and my 90 is 1,000 miles away. Today's the 13th. So my live unload was at a U.S. Foods in Salem, Virginia. It was right at about 1,000 miles away, and it was a live unload for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So basically 2 days to go 1,000 miles. And I'm like, all right, live unload at 9 o'clock. They'll be done by 11 o'clock theoretically, even though I knew that wasn't going to happen. But be done at 11 o'clock. I'm like, I would have to move and drive all night from like 11 p.m. until like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. the next morning. Shut down, do a whole 10-hour break during the day, which 99% of the time I don't do it that way. But so I'm like, that's gonna require driving all night last night and doing a 10-hour break during the day today, driving all night tonight, and getting there sometime like tomorrow morning, like before 10 o'clock, probably like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, because the U.S. Foods, I had already Googled them. They have a staging area. I wouldn't consider it a staging area because it only had about 6 or 7 parking spaces for their staging area, which was inside the fence line, just past the guard shack. So you have to actually drive in, check in, and if you're gonna get there at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, the trucks that got there the night before already have all that parking taken up. So, and there's nothing behind the gate, and it's just a little street off the main highway that gets you to the gate. So you can't park on the side of their driveway. It's just a driveway. There's no parking on the side of the driveway, and it's just and it comes off a main highway. So there's, other than the 6 or 7 spots, there's nowhere. But I wasn't even worried about that. I'm like, two complete overnights of driving. That's if they get me loaded in 2 hours, because I'm not gonna try to guess as to how long it's actually gonna take. I could still, if I would have taken that load, I could still be sitting at that warehouse waiting for an empty dock. That's how bad some of these warehouses are. So I'm like, you know what? Play it on the safe side. I went with the 2 hour limit, which is going to mean 2 overnights of me driving, which I really don't like to do. Call me a wimp, call me whatever you want. That's just not how I do it. Unless I don't know, it pays fantastic, and this load didn't pay fantastic, and I'm not the type to do energy drinks. I don't do energy drinks. I've never sipped an energy drink. My energy drink is either Coke, Pepsi, or Dr. Pepper. I don't do coffee. I don't do decaf. My drinks are hot chocolate, Pepsi, Coke, Dr. Pepper, Big Red. Don't do Mountain Dew. No coffee, no decaf. I'll do French vanilla once in a while, just to throw it in there. The only coffee I will drink is that French vanilla, and when I do French vanilla, the coffee is so hot that I burn my lips and my tongue and my entire mouth just by taking a sip of coffee, spit it out. It takes 3, 4, 5 days for my lips and tongue and everything to recover from that burnout I had. So I've never been a coffee person. Decaf, regular, no nothing. French vanilla once in a while, and that's maybe once every 3 or 4 months. I'm the soda guy. Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Coke, Big Red. I'll do the Gatorades, but that's it. No coffee, no energy drinks. I've never even taken a sip of any kind of energy drink, because I've smelled them. But I've had people, oh, just take a sip, see what you think. Not interested. I've heard horror stories about the drinking an energy drink to keep you up for the night, but then all of a sudden, yeah, everybody tells me, yeah, just that there's that crash at the end where all that energy drink wears off, and all of a sudden you're freaking tired as hell, and there's that crash at the end. Well, you know what? I don't want to take a chance on to know what that crash is how that crash is going to affect me, because it may not affect me. I may not have it whatsoever. But you know what? It may be a crash where I take an energy drink and I drink it and everything's fine. I end up liking it, but then once I drink it all and the effects wear off, I don't want to know what the effects I don't want to know what's going to happen to me after the effects wear off, because I don't want to be responsible for what happens. If the effects are bad on me and I just all of a sudden I hit a crash and I just can't keep myself up and I'm on the highway with nowhere to go, I don't want that. I'm not taking that chance. So I've never other than smelling an energy drink after someone's opened it up, I've never even taken a sip of it. Don't care to, will not. I don't care. Ain't me. So anyway, so I turned down that load. They wanted to know why, and I told them why. And he's like, this load doesn't require you to drive overnight. So I told him, I said, I don't care, I don't want it. I'm like, 1,000 miles in 2 days. 1,000 miles in 2 days. That's going to be 2 days of overnights. Don't care for it. Not interested. Don't want it. But when he said that, when he sent that message, this load doesn't require overnight driving. I mean, I thought about it before I even declined it. I'm like, what's he thinking? What's his method of thinking about no overnight driving when the load's going to be technically ready at 11 p.m. and you've got 2 days to go 1,000 miles? So I sent him the message like, how do you figure no overnight driving? What's your theory behind this? Tell me. I want to know. Get curious. He didn't answer. He just sent me a message back, and he said, well, not overnight driving for the entire load. I see overnight driving for part of the load, but not for the whole thing. You know what? Me, I don't go from like 10 p.m. to like 7 a.m. I don't do it, and it was gonna need that. And I figured, this is just a dispatch guy who's sitting behind a desk, works 9 to 5, doesn't have to look at these loads like we have to, because if we make a mistake and we didn't look at it good enough, it's on us. It's on us, and they'll let us know we're in trouble. You should have looked at it better. You should have known better. You should have seen what was happening. You should have read between the lines. All this stuff. When they make a mistake, oh, I didn't see that part. I didn't realize it picked up at 11 p.m. We didn't see that. Our mistake. When they make a mistake, slap on the wrist. When we make a mistake, they hold it to us, and it goes on our record and everything like that, which to me is a double standard. It shouldn't be that way, but because it is that way, we got no choice to look out. We got no choice but to look out for ourselves. So that's what I was doing, and got the dog passed out on the passenger side right next to me. Took her out for a walk. There's Butthead right there. Actually, her name is Frex, but I call her Butthead for short because she can be a real butthead. So anyway, about 20 minutes later, they took that load away from me and gave me another load, which actually much better. I mean, it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours away, but it's a drop and hook at the 01 and the 90, and the pickup at the 01. I actually have a big window. It can be picked up anytime between 1 p.m. today and midnight tonight, and it's about 3 o'clock right now. So I was just about to leave the truck stop here and go down there. Easy to get to. This one is in. Let me find this one again. It's actually a it's a meat plant. It's a Smithfield meat plant, or a Tyson, or a Swift, however you want to call it. It's actually in the pre-plan called Armor Swift Corporation, but it's a meat plant called. And when you get there, it's gonna have the word Smithfield on it. So it's a Smithfield meat warehouse, and this one's in St. James, Minnesota. It's about 2 hours away. It's 2 hours southwest of Minneapolis, off of Highway 30. So it's halfway between here and Highway 90 down there, I think, by Bloomington. But super easy to get to. All I gotta do is from here go down, find Highway 30, and then just drive 2 hours down Highway 30 to the Highway 4 exit. And St. James is just a little bitty small town, maybe 1,000 people. And so this meat plant has got to be everybody in that town works at this meat plant, because the freaking plant is about as big as the city, about as big as the town. But so yeah, go down. It's about a 2 hour drive down Highway 30, then exit Highway 4. Take a right, because the whole town and the warehouse is on the north side of the highway, and take a right on Highway 4. Go straight through the town about 1.5 miles, and the plant is on the right. Easy to get to. When I did the Macro 19 for directions, the very last sentence to the place says, if you're picking up a load from this customer, they require a washout receipt. Well, I ain't got a washout receipt. I don't think I'm going to get a washout receipt, because I looked in this trailer yesterday after they unloaded me, after I was empty, and that's what I do almost on almost every load, because we get so many frozen loads and reefer loads, that because 99% of our loads are reefer. So you're always thinking how, after I get unloaded, how clean's this trailer for my next load. So I pulled away from the dock and went to the back to close up the trailer doors, looked in the trailer. First thing I thought of was, this trailer's clean enough. I don't need a washout. Because this, actually, the load I had on me that I delivered yesterday was a dry load. I had to run it at 70 degrees, so technically I did need the reefer on for only 70 degrees, but it was a load of medicine and drug paraphernalia. So it was all boxed up and everything. So it technically wasn't a load that was going to get the trailer dirty. So they loaded up the trailer. They loaded a clean trailer. And with a dry load on a clean trailer, it's going to come off and leave the trailer clean. And I knew that, but I just wanted to see how clean it really was. So I pulled away from the dock. Trailer looked clean to me, but when I did the Macro 19, the very last sentence says, if you're picking up a load, they require a washout receipt. And when I Googled the place, I didn't see any washouts around the area. So I think I'm gonna take my chance and just drive down there and see if I can just, because some places, even though they say it requires a washout receipt, a lot of these places, other than making you open up your trailer doors to make sure that the trailer is empty, most of these places don't even. I mean, as long as it's clean enough that you can see it's clean enough that there's no. You just don't want it to be after a meat load where there's like dried blood or even liquids in the crevices of the trailer. That I would have had to get a washout. But this is what came from a dry load from a clean load, so it's still clean. But makes me wonder how technical they're going to get. Are they no matter how clean the trailer is, are they going to still require a washout receipt? Because if they still require a washout receipt, I'm kind of screwed, because then I'm going to have to go find a washout. And this place is in the middle of nowhere. But most of the places I've been to, that even though they say that, they just open up the trailer doors just to make sure that it is an empty trailer. And as long as they see nothing noticeable on the floor of the trailer in the cracks, they're cool with it. Because I've been running reefer loads for probably 3 years, and only One place said in the Macro 19 that this place requires a washout receipt, so there was a washout on the way there, so I went to get a washout receipt just because it said that. And I get there to pick up my next load, and the dude, when I pulled up there to check in with the gate, they didn't even ask me to open up the trailer doors. They didn't even check the reefer fuel level. I drove in, I gave him my pickup number, and he said, drop it over here and your trailer's over there. Never had me open my trailer doors, never checked the reefer level, no nothing. Let me do a drop and hook right there. Even though I got a washout receipt because the Macro 19 said customer requires a washout receipt, not only did they never ask for a receipt, they never had me open up my trailer doors to check on it or the reefer level. Of course, I went in there with the full reefer tank. I mean, it's stupid not to, because if they check it and you're less than 3/4 full, they will make you turn around and go fill the damn thing up. I checked in one at a Nestle place with 3/4 of a tank. He made me turn around and go fill it up because they require full tanks, and mine was at 3/4. Luckily the fuel was only 3 miles away, so I already knew, I'm like, if they turn me away, it's only 3 miles away, no big deal. But this place is in the middle of nowhere, so if I get there and they actually do require, hopefully if they require a receipt and I can somehow, hey, this is cleaning a dry load from a clean trailer, so the trailer is still clean, should be clean enough. But we do get these freaking butthead places that even though the trailer's clean, these freaking security guards at the front gate want to play rent-a-cop and enforce the law and say, nope, I got to turn you around and you need a washout receipt, even though the trailer is still technically, it's clean. There's no reason for that to happen, so I'm just going to drive over there and take my chance. It's supposed to be a drop and hook, but I've got from 1300, and it's about 3 o'clock right now, up until midnight tonight, so I've got plenty of time to get there. But I'm actually just about to start leaving now. Just Googled the place to make sure I got good directions. I already checked the navigation system. It takes me right the freak there. Like I always do that. I Google everything. Check the Google with the navigation system with the Google Maps, and most of the time it may not take you to the docks of the warehouse, but it'll take you to like the front door or the mailbox to the warehouse. Then from there you just Google it and see where the docks are at, and you just got to figure out how to get to the docks yourself. So then you just have to use your common sense from there. Works for me every time. I mean, I've been doing this like 5 or 6 years. I've never had a $500 truck GPS on any truck I've had. I just Google map everything, and I go. And I've run into people that had a hard time getting there even with the $500 truck GPS, and because they didn't Google it, they didn't know that the even that expensive truck GPS takes them around the block and ends up at the mailbox at the front of the building. And I'm like, nope, I didn't have one bit of a problem. I knew how to get there because I Googled the place, and you can see how to get to the dock. So I'm about to leave the Stockman's truck stop in Minneapolis. 2 hours down there to do a drop and hook. Hopefully I can get in without a washout receipt. Trailer's clean enough. And then it's a like 670 mile, 600 and what was the other thing? Oh, 652 miles to the 90, which is the other. It's the Smithfield Distributing Warehouse in Greenfield, Indiana, on I-70, just maybe 10 miles east of Indianapolis, off of exit. I forget the exit number, but it's the same exit as the Pilot, just east of Indianapolis on I-70. And you go north, you pass the Pilot up, and when you hit the Rotary, you turn right on the street when you hit the Rotary, you turn right, go down that street about a half a mile, and it's on your left. And that's another drop and hook there too. And I have until, I want to say, today's Wednesday. I have until I think it's 6 a.m. Friday morning to get it there, but I'll get it there. So I'll get it there tomorrow sometime. So it's 2 hours to go pick it up, and then it's 650 miles to go do another drop and hook. So that's a perfect load for me. I mean, I don't hate driving. I hate driving overnight, like from like 10 p.m. until like 7 a.m. That's what I don't like. I mean, I'll drive till midnight, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And yes, for those people say, well, he's not gonna find a place to park. Yes, I can find places to park. When you've done this long enough, and you know where to go, and you know where not to go for truck parking, you can find parking. But this I think the 90, you can actually park on the property. I don't know about overnight, but because I never had to stay with it overnight. But when I know I've got to go till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, most of the time I can find a place to park. You just got to know where you can't go to park because everything's going to be full, and you got to know where you can go to park, whether it's a rest area, whether it's a truck stop, like not a lot of people know about it, not a lot of people like to go there, so it's not going to be full. There's got to be I've never had a problem finding parking. Rest area, hell, I'll even use our terminals as parking, but you gotta know where to go and where not to go for parking at those hours of the day. I've pulled in the truck stops at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and found a couple of empty spots. I mean, it's hard to back your trailer. It's hard to get into that empty spot. That's why everybody's avoiding it. That's why it's there. But as long as you know what you're doing, I've gotten in those spaces before, and wow, why is this spot open? Well, when you look around, like, oh, it's hard to get into because it's all it's congested, and there's trucks parked when they're not supposed to be, and no one wants to park there because that's too hard of a spot to get into. I don't want to hit anything. Well, you know what? That's the only spot left. It took me a little bit, but I got in there. You just gotta know what you're doing and take your time getting in there. And I've been in those situations where I get out and I'm walking into the truck stop, and some guy walks by me and goes, "Did you just park there?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's the only parking space left." He goes, "Dude," he goes, "there's been like 10, 15 other guys that everybody's avoiding it because no one wants to park in there because everybody thinks it's too hard to back in there." Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I noticed that right away. But as long as you know what you're doing and take your time and everything, boom, I hit it. They're like, "And you got in there?" "Yeah, I didn't." I'm like, "It wasn't easy, but I took my time and got in there." As long as you know what you're doing, all mirrors. I had to get out a few times and walk around the whole damn thing, but got in there, and he was like, "Wow." He goes, "No one else wanted to park." I'm like, "Yeah, because it wasn't that easy to get in. Everybody either wants a pull through, or they want something easy to get into." And sometimes that's how I find parking spot. I take the spot I take the spot everybody else was avoiding. Why? Because it was just a little difficult to back in. You gotta know it just comes down to knowing how to back in, and you get those spots, or park. You're the one that's parked next to the scale for the night. Parked on the side of the street. I've parked in the customer parking by the fuel lanes, away from everybody before. Walmarts. I've never to this day have used an exit ramp or an on ramp off the interstate to do it. That is my last resort. If I absolutely cannot find a spot, that will be my last resort. But to this day, I have never used an exit ramp or an entrance ramp onto the interstate, because I have eventually found a spot, either in the rest area, or Walmart's, or what I think I've used a church parking lot. Terminals. Where else have I pushed myself into? I found just empty dirt lots across the street from a truck stop. There's a famous one that not a lot of people either don't like to go to or don't even know about, on I-30 in Prescott, Arkansas, at exit 44. You have a big TA there. Everybody tries to cram into that TA, and everybody's trying to go to that TA. When that TA is full, people go 2 miles down the street to exit 46 to the Loves. That Loves is packed at night. It gets so packed that they actually had to open up a brand new overflow parking on the other side of the street from the main parking lot. That gets full too. So the Loves at exit 46 stays full. The TA at exit 44 stays full. At exit 44, across the highway from the TA, there's a truck stop there. It's got a 24-hour restaurant there. There's no pavement in the parking lot. It's just a big ass dirt parking lot that wraps around the restaurant. It's got a lot of potholes everywhere, but you can go into that place any time of the night, 10 a.m., 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. any time of the night. Go in there. Of course, everybody's parked right around the restaurant, but if you just go anywhere away from the truck to the back of the dirt lot, and it's all lit up too, but everybody wants to park around the restaurant so they don't have to walk too far. But drive away from the trucks to the back of the parking lot, and it's just a wide open dirt lot out there. You can put another 50 or 60 trucks and trailers back there. Super easy to get to, right across the highway from the TA. But yet everybody tries to cram into the TA at the same exit and the Loves at the next exit 2 miles down. But then when there's no parking at either one, and you go back to the TA, but you go to the other side of the highway to that other truck stop, plenty of parking. Nobody wants to go there. Well, I mean, yeah, there's potholes filled with water all over the place. Go between them, go around them. Like, I mean, if that's not good enough for you, I don't want to park here. This is full of dirt. Well, then go find yourself a spot when everything else is full. That in that Prescott, Arkansas area, that's I don't go to the TA or Loves. I go to the TA or Loves to get me something to eat if I don't want to go to the restaurant, and then go right back to that truck stop. But anyway, gonna cut it short. I didn't realize this little video took that long, but I'm about to head out to go 2 hours down to the Smithfield meat plant to do my drop and hook, and then it's on to the Smithfield in Greenfield, Indiana, just outside Indianapolis. All these bus drivers are starting to come in because it's time to put these buses back on the road to pick up the kids from school to take them home. So everybody be safe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.